This is Gita class, chapter 5, 15 sloka, Karma Sannyasa. First we will offer the praise. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yaf Patet Prayatav Puman Vishnav Padamavapnoti Bhayashokadi Vajjitaha Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva Om Shri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namah. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Shankaracharya ki Jai, all Gurus ki Jai. Number 5, chapter 5, 15 sloka. Okay. Nadatte kasya chet papam nachaiva sukritam vibhuh ajnanena vratam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavah. Nadatte kasya chet papam nachaiva sukritam vibhuh ajnanena vratam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavah. Nadatte kasya chet papam nachaiva sukritam vibhuh Ajnanena jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Na, never. Adatte accepts. Kasyachet, anyone's. Papam, sin. Na, nor. Cha, also. Eva, certainly. Sukritam, pious activities. Vibhuhu, the Supreme Lord. Ajnanena, by ignorance. Avritam, covered. Jnanam, knowledge. Tena, by that. Muhyante, or bewildered. Jantavaha, the living entities. Translations by the Srila Prabhupada. Not that the Supreme Lord assume anyone sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. So, here again I repeat, nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. So basically here the Lord, Supreme Lord, he won't assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. He won't be responsible for that. It's only the jivas, the living entities, the embodied beings who are conditioned by the body consciousness. It is their karma. So here the principle is avidya kama karma. As in the Vivek Chudamani, avidya kama karmadi pashabandham vimochitam kashyaknoyadvinatmanam kalpakoti shaterapi. This is like a pasham, this is like a rope, avidya kama karma. This is bound by this is bound. The living entities are bound by this avidya, vidya kama karma. So we have to work to get out from this ignorance. Otherwise, kalpa koti therapy, even kalpa koti janmas also, crores and janmas, you won't be relief, you won't get the relief, whatever you do. You have to do on your own to remove this knowledge, this ajnana, ignorance. And one of the Kunti prayers also, Kunti also talks about this avidya, kama, karma in the Bhagavatam. Okay. Now, Vibhuhu. So if you see in the purport, right, Vibhuhu means, the Srila Prabhupada explains, the Supreme Lord who is full of unlimited knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty and renunciation. Okay. He is always satisfied in himself, undisturbed by sinful or pious activities. The sinful, pious activities are all karma related. And the avidya kama, karma, if you really see, the karma, the base for the karma is kama, the desire, desire to enjoy. And for that, the avidya is the base for that. That means I am not the Atman, I am not the Brahman, I am not the soul, I am the body consciousness, I am the body, this gross body or the subtle body. So when you have this strong conviction that I am the body, then the desire will develop, and then the good or bad actions will come. So then one of the Vivekananda quote, the great quote, he says, who sows must reap. They say, quote, begin the quote, they say means the rishis say, and cause must bring the sure effect. Okay, cause must bring the sure effect. Good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. This is the karma theory. Good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. But whoso wears a form must wear the chain. Whoso wears a form must wear a chain means, form means you have the body, form. So the moment you got the body, you have the chain. And the end quote. Too true. But so that is all the karma theory explains. And he also explains the Atman, our true nature. But far beyond both name and form is Atman, ever free. Know thou art that. Sannyas in bold say Om Tat Sat. Om. That is the great quote by Vivekananda. So we are already Atman, we are bound up, we are already there, ever free. But only the other thing is, our purpose of the aim is to remove this ignorance. For that, we can do the bhakti, surrender to the Lord. So like in the Chatushlaki Gita, he says like aham sarvasya prabhuva matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Kadayanta Mam Nityam Tushyamti Charamanticha. So he says like whoever knows that I am the everything, Lord of everything, they will do bhakti to me, and that they will relish the bhakti, they will enjoy talking about the Lord. Machitta Madgata Prana, their whole entire chitta, prana, everything is dedicated to the Bhagwan. And then what he does is Tesham Sadadiktanam Bhajatam Pritipurokam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tamena Maupyantite. For them, he will give the Buddhi Yoga. Tesham Evanukam Partam Ahamajnarjam Tama Nashayamyatma Bhavastha Jnanadipena Bhaswata. For them, I dwell in their heart. With the Jnanadipa, lamp of the knowledge, I destroy the ignorance. That's what the Chatushlaki Gita says. So when you sincerely devote yourself, thinking about the Lord all the time, work for the Lord, then your ignorance will be removed. So again, the Prabhupada continues. So basically, the Lord is not responsible for our pious or sinful activities. Bewildered by the ignorance, basically same thing. Avidya, kama, karma. Bewildered with ignorance, desires to be put into certain conditions of life, and thereby his chain of action and reaction begins. A living entity is actually a living entity is by superior nature, full of knowledge. Nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by ignorance due to his limited power. Because Mama Maya Durataya, Maya is also one of the energies of the Lord. So it's a fight between the superior energy, the living entities, and the inferior energies, Maya. So we always win. Only thing we should have the patience, titiksha, and goal-oriented. Work towards this. Understand the purpose of the life, and then work towards that. So that is how the karma theory goes. Now, so if you say desire is, if you really say desire is a subtle form of the conditioning for the living entity. The Lord fulfills his desires as it deserves. So basically when you desire to enjoy the nature, you will be fulfilled based on your whatever you deserve it. That is a subtle, basically as I said, subtle form of condition. That is how the Atman is basically close to the Buddhi. So first the Atman, the Upadhi of the Atman is Buddhi first, they will say, very subtle level. And the Buddhi, in the Buddhi, the desire will develop. Again, like Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajogana Samadbhavaha, Mahashana, I'll come to that point too. So basically we need to control the desire. So the best way to control the desire is to desire Krishna. When you desire Krishna, then Lord will take care of it. And then you'll be get out from this ajnana. The result of this is getting out from the cycle of birth and death. Okay. Now let's talk about this. So in this sloka, basically, we know the papa and the punya. We talked about the Atman, our nature. Okay, and then the Supreme Lord, the ignorance we talked, and the real knowledge we talked, and then we talked about and then papa and punya. So in this one, let's see the definitions of papa are clearly explained the majority of the times explained in the Gita, and the punya is the opposite of that. So if you really see the papam, in the first chapter, Arjuna bewilders. There's like a Arjuna Vishada Yoga, and then he says like ahobatamat papam gattum vyavasitamayam yidraja sukhalobena hantum sajam jataha. Basically, out of this greedy for the kingdom, oh, I'm making the papa. That's what he thinks. So that means one of the things is he identifies that, oh, I desire the kingdom. That's why I'm doing the papa. So desire is the papa. And in the second chapter, 33rd sloka, atachet tam imam dharmam sangram na karishyasi tata swadharmam kirtim cha papam apsasi. Atachet idamam imam dharmam sangram na karishyasi tata swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam apsasi. So again, papa again in the sense means here, so let me go to the second chapter and then 33rd sloka. Just now talked about that. Adhachatvam dharmam sangram na karishyasi tatasva. Basically, if I don't do my swadharma, then I'll get the papa. So it's very, very subtle level, the whatever the ashrama I am in, whatever the varna I am in, I have certain duties. The mind is always fickle. It always goes to do the wrong things. So that's why in the Kali Yuga they will say if you just stop controlling at the mind level, and then you won't get involved in the papa. Okay? The next sloka 38, second chapter 38 sloka, he says like sukha dukkhe same krutva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddha yujjasa naivam papam apsase. Krishna says sukham dukkham labham nashtam jaya apajayam. So that means sukha, happiness, and then sorrow. See these strong words, right? And then labha, profit and loss. Jaya, victory and loss, victory and defeat. So he says, tato yuddhaya. So you just leave all this aside and then do like equally, same krutva. Think equally or see equally, and then just do your duty of the yuddha, and then you won't get the papa for that. So that means the subtle level here is don't desire it because you are already Atman, you are already Purnam. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. You are already Atman, you are already unlimited happiness in you once you realize it. So that's why don't do. Slowly it will come, the Indriyas. Then on the third chapter, 37th, he explained, first Arjuna asked like, very strongly, how come I am forced to do these wrong things even though I know it, they are wrong. Then Krishna says, Kama Yesha Krodesha Rajoguna Smadbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyenamiha Vairinam. Kama Yesha Krodesha Rajoguna. Because of the Rajoguna, Kamam and Krodham, because of that, people are forced to Kamesha Krodesha Rajoguna Smadbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyenamiha Vairinam. They are the biggest enemies of the living entity. Mahashano Mahapapma. Mahashano means the biggest enemies, and Mahapapma, biggest papa we are doing with that. And after that he says like Evam Buddhe Param Buddha. So basically all the Indriyas from Jnanendriyas are superior to Karmendriyas, and then Man is superior to Jnanendriyas, and Buddhi even superior to this, and even you, the living entity, is more superior to Buddhi. So you tell your Buddhi that not to do the papa. That's what he explains. And that is on the third chapter. And then the seventh chapter, Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Druttaya Mameve Pravijante Maya Metam Tarantite. Basically he says like my Maya is so powerful, so watch out. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Druttaya Mameve Pravijante Maya Metam Tarantite. So I don't know why Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Druttaya Mameve Pravijante, but basically there's Rajoguna, all these things. You come to me, you surrender to me, then you will cross over these gunas. Then on the same chapter 20th sloka, he says, Esham tvantagatam pavam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandamavadil muktaha bhajante mam dhudavrataha. So whoever crosses, Esham tvantagatam pavam, whoever has done with this papa. So really, if you really see, papa means nothing that desiring, sense gratification, material desire is the papa. So nothing else. Once you have that, once you don't have that, then Antakatambam Drudhavrataha, then you'll do the bhakti with Drudhavrata, more and more strength. Then on the 9th chapter, Mamhi Padave Pashitya Ipisyu Papa Yoneha Striyo Vaishyasa Shudraha Tepi Adiparamada, he explains that even though Papa Yoni, or whatever, you are sin, but don't worry about the sin, and then just surrender unto me, I'll take care of everything. And even Vivekananda says sin, it is sin to call a sinner, he says, because we are Atman, we are Brahman. So at 2 levels we need to consider this. One thing, cut the desire. 2, cut the desire, use the Viveka and Vairagya, saying that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, and you, all the logic, with all the logic, the Buddhi, convince your Buddhi, and don't do the Papa. And on the other side, know that real nature, the knowledge of the Atman, Viveka, Jnana. Then on the 18th chapter, 66, that is the famous sloka, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhya Mokshayishyami Sarva Papebhya Sarva Papas, I am going to remove it. So if you really see the vasanas, the jiva is coming, certain vasanas are so strong that it takes a lot of time to get rid of those vasanas. Because of the vasanas, you tend to do these wrong things. For example, somebody is forced to, they have to do certain things with their nature, that's a nature. So don't worry about that. Try to keep on controlling it, keep on working towards it. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, slowly you will get into that. So that is what the Papa is. And also, as you say, the karma theory, ignorance has no excuse at the same time. So once you do the Papa, you have to, what is that? Do whatever the result comes, you have to accept it. Okay? But remember, always think about the Lord, and then do only those. Try not to do any Papa. Okay? That's one thing. So on this hand, Yesham Tantaka, we already talked about that. Okay. And also Prabhupada here explains that, Dvandva Moha, Yesham Tantakatam Pavam Janana Punyakaramnam, Te Dvandva Moha Nirmuktaha. Dvandva Moha Nirmukta is very strong. Doha Nirmukta, Mukta means free, Nirmukta, fully free of this word, Dvandva Mohas, dualities, that is a Moha. And also Krishna says at the end of the Gita, he says, Nashto Mohasmatir Labdha, Tat Prasadan Mayachyuta, Sthito Asmi Garsanya. And that was Arjuna says, Nashto Moha. Then even Krishna says, is your Moha is done? Is gone? Or what? Then Arjuna says, yeah, Nashto Mohasmatir Labdha. Before that, I think Krishna says, Arjuna, did you complete it? That's a nice sloka. Let me say that. At the end of the Gita, on the 18th chapter, where is the 18th chapter? It's going fast. Sapta, and then, let's see, Moksha Sannyasa. So, Kachida Sampaddha Tvayekagrana Chesa, Kachida Jnana Sammoha Pranasthaste Jnana is gone or what? Then he says Nashtomo Asmatrabdha. So that is how it's very important. So, and then thinking about dualities. Slowly it will come. Okay? Accept. So in this world, if you really say, Prabhupada also says, we have no other interest except realization of ourselves. That is the main interest, main thing we have to work towards in this life. There is nothing else. Everything is temporary, goes. And on the other side, if you see, the punya is the opposite of papa. That is punya. Try to develop more and more punya. Because 920 says, Traividya mam somapavpota papa ignyeshtra sargadim pradhyante te punyama sajya surendra lokam ashtam. Basically, punya is like opposite of that. And then do the punya, do the avidya, not avidya, akarma. And even on the 18th chapter, Rajan Samsmacha, basically, Sanjay also says that this Gita conversion between Krishna and Arjuna is punya. And Gita Shastra Vidam Punyam. The Shastram Gita is Punyam, because that will lead towards you Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan, desirelessness state. And then even 15th chapter, Iti Guhyatamam Shastram, Gita Shastram. Bhagavad Gita itself is Shastra. And in the Bhagavatam also, Kritakunya Punjaha. Sukadeva Goswami says like how these Gopa Balas are so much punya, they are living with, playing with the Supreme Lord. Okay. Now if you really, that is all the gist of this sloka. And then if you really see the recap of this entire chapter, 5th chapter, I just have spent 10 minutes for that. So the first Arjuna asks the question, renunciation of work or work in devotion, which one is better? That's what he asks. And in the purport, he says like, Prabhupada explains, in the 2nd chapter, Krishna explained about the soul, the knowledge, and then how to get out from this material entanglement by the Buddhi Yoga. And in the 3rd chapter, he explains that they explain that a person situated in the platform knowledge no longer has any duties to perform. Once you have the knowledge that you are Atman and you realize it, then there is no work to do, because there is no avidya, there is no kama, and there is no karma. And in the 4th chapter, again, Lord told Arjuna that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate in knowledge. However, at the end of the 4th chapter, he says like, get up and fight with this perfect knowledge. Okay, in this 5th chapter, the Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that work in devotional service is better than dry mental speculation. Devotional service is easier than the later because being transcendental in nature, it frees one from the reaction. It appears not to have understood that work in full knowledge is non-reactive and therefore same as in action. He inquires therefore whether he should cease to work together, all together, or work with full knowledge. Now the Sankhya Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, which one is the decision is made by the Bhagavan. And the 2nd sloka, Lord replies that both are good, but devotional service is better. Then, and also explains that where is the question of renunciation when everything is by the Bhagavan, everything is applied, is the Lord owns everything. Then where is the question of renunciation? That's another good point. And then the 3rd sloka, one who neither hates nor desires the fruits of activities is always renounced in the renunciation. Not like, not like doing nothing. So such a person free from all dualities, again, Dvandva Moha, free from all dualities, easily comes out of they will be liberated. Then only the ignorant speak Karma Yoga and the Bhakti Sankhya Yoga as different, but whoever does achieves one, kind of like achieves both result. And in the 5th sloka, one who knows position it by integral cell, he can all be explained by devotional service on the same and sees things as they are. Basically, it's the same thing. Sankhya Yoga or the Bhakti Yoga, both are same. Basically, if you're really analyzing it, like Shankaracharya says, Moksha Karana Samagraham Bhaktireva Griyase Swaswarupanusandhanam Bhaktiritya Vidhiyate Swatma Tattvanusandhanam Bhaktiritya Parejago. Basically, knowing yourself, the Atman. Okay? And then knowing your true nature, working towards that is called devotional service, bhakti. And in the 6th sloka, merely renouncing and not engaging in devotional service cannot make one happy. Be a thoughtful person, engage in devotional can achieve supreme without delay. Because if you don't do anything, the vidya will, Maya is very powerful, and then it will grab you. So you have to be engaged in every minute. You have to be free at the same time doing the devotional with free, with no tension, no pressure, no nothing, no desire, and no obligation. Freely, whatever you want to do it. There are so many things given Navavida Bhaktis, so you can select anyone and then work towards it. Now the 7th sloka, qualities and greatness of both Sankhya and Bhakti Yoga. 7th sloka says like one who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, who controls the mind and senses dear to everyone, and everyone dear to him. Though working, such a man is never entangled. Because when you control the mind and senses, you are kind of like dear to everyone. You are not entangled. Then 8th and 9th sloka says like a person in the divine consciousness, whether he is doing any kind of work like speaking, evacuating, smelling, touching, moving, whatever the indriyas are all doing, they're all just indriyas are doing and not the Atman. You should have that conviction. And in the 10th sloka, One who performs duty without attachment, surrender. There is again, we have another class that's Padmapatra Vivambasa, like a lotus leaf. So focus. Basically, without attachment, surrendering the results to the Bhagavan is unaffected by sinful action. Say again, sinful action. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam jakpa karoti lippete nasa papena. So that is also there. 5:10. I don't know whether I listed here. I did not list here in the thing, but it's a very good point. 5:10. 5:10 talks about the papa too. So we have to be living like that. And on the 11th one, sloka, the yogis abandoning attachment, act with the body, mind, senses only for the purpose of abandoning attachment, only for the purpose of purification. Because of the prarabdha karmas, we were given all these upadhis. So without the work we cannot live. So we just work without attachment, all the karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, like that. And on the 12th sloka, the steadily devoted and attains unadulterated praise because he offers results of my. Basically, if you have the desire of the result, then you don't have the peace. If you don't have the desires, the results, whatever comes, take it as a prasada, then you will have peace. It's very hard to implement in the life, but slowly it will come. Whenever the mind goes, keep on remembering the same things and then come back to the same point. So, the secret of Krishna consciousness, realization that there is no existence besides Krishna, is the platform of peace and fearfulness. Everything is his. Then Jnana Yoga Vivarana, 13th sloka, when the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides in the city of 9 gates, neither working nor causing work to be done. So, okay, when the embodied mentally renounces, he resides happily in the renounces actions. Mentally renounces what? All actions. That's what. That means he is not responsible, he is not expecting any results. And on the 14th one, that's the previous sloka, this is the 15th sloka. So 14th sloka, the embodied spirit, master city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All these enacted by the modes of material nature. So the master, the soul, does not do anything. As like we always discuss, the soul desires and then the material nature will act to fulfill the desires. So basically, when once the soul stops because of the ajnana covered, that avidya, kama, karma, that is how the desire develops. The soul, if you really realize the soul, we are purnam. That means full in everything. Then there is no question of desire. When you are eaten fully all the things, then you won't have a desire, at least for some time, not to eat again. So that is how it is. So then after that, then nor does he create the fruits of action. So when you don't have the desire, then there is nothing. And then basically all is connected by the Maya. So that is all about this sloka. So basically again, its summary is that because of the avidya, kama, karma, because of this ignorance, we are thinking the body, and then because of that we want to enjoy more and more. That is how we do a lot of karmas, and because of the karmas we do, thinking that I am doing it, then the results will come, and then we have to accept the results, either good or bad. And then again, that based on the results, we get again next body. That's how the cycle of birth and life cycle, like Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. So that's how the cycle goes on and on and on. Our human purpose of life is to get out from this cycle of birth and death. Again, I really like this Vivekananda quote again. One more time I'll repeat. Who sows must reap. That's one quotation. And they say, again begin quotation, and cause must bring the sure effect. Good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. But whoso wears a form must wear the chain. And end the quote. Too true. But far beyond both names and forms is Atman ever free. Know thou art that. Sannyasi in bold say Om Tat Sat. Om. Okay? Hare Krishna. We'll talk more in the next class. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। कृष्ण भगवान की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय, दाय गौर की जय, चैतन्य महाप्रभु।